Tonight, I wanted to talk about something tonight that was very important for family members and very important for those that have someone incarcerated. Going to prison is not a pleasant thing. It's nothing to be joyful about. It causes pain and suffering on both sides, not only the inmates, but to his family. I want to ask you family members out there, I know a lot of families has been disappointed and hurt. But remember this, that when somebody calls and he has 15 minutes, give him that time. If he asks you or she asks you to do something for them, if you can't do it, please tell them no, because inside, all they have is their word. And sometimes they might borrow something from someone and they're dependent on your answer, and they'll give the person inside the yes. And if your intentions was not to fulfill that request, it can be casualties for them. The reason I'm bringing that up is because a friend of a friend called me, and his friend was hit about 5 times because he borrowed something from somebody in prison, and he gave them their word on store day, and he couldn't comply. And in prison, no one is sympathetic to no one. Another thing is, please tell your family members, whether it's a female or a male, that to program. We see a lot of guys and females, nobody wants to program inside. And there's a saying, when your head is in a lion's mouth, you have to ease it out real slow. The powers to be, which is the BOP, they don't care about nothing. They're not trying to help you. They provide education, yes they do, but because the environment is so filled with gang, as soon as there's a fight, they shut everything down. And when you shut everything down, there's no time for you to go to the law library. You cannot go to your education to get your GED. And if you're taking any college courses and you need a proctor, all that's shut down. And what that do is stops everything. And it's time now again for those that's been incarcerated to put in their appeal. It's sad. It's very sad, because in law, it's a procedure. It's a process. You have your appeal, and if the appeal get knocked down, you go to after the district court knocks it down, you go to the appeals court. From the appeals court, if it knocks it down, you go to the Supreme Court, which is like 1%. They really listen. They really hear the case. After that, it's the habeas corpus, which is the 2255, where they have to raise ineffective. The compassionate release is something that gives you an opportunity again to relitigate your issues. But it's very important for them to program. And when I say program, they must go to their GED classes, go to their other classes, or being if you're locked down in the unit, this is what I did. I got a bunch of guys and we talked, and every day we did motivational stuff amongst ourselves. And believe it or not, the BOP are very hip to the fact that when staff members was given letters of recommendations for inmates to the courts so they could submit it in their legal work, the BOP stopped that. So what you do, because you have to self-manage, let them know that it doesn't stop there. The judges are aware of what goes on, and for them to form an alliance and do constructiveness, talk about groups, have groups, and have each other write letters for one another, because who knows best on each other's character than themselves? Believe it or not, the courts accept those letters when it's authentic. Again, I come to you and I'm asking that this is a plead to you family members. Trust me. When someone calls from inside and call home just to hear you and to get your assistance, which is very needed. I know a lot of people have disappointed you all by their disobedience and their stupidity actions, but trust me, no man, I don't wish my worst enemy in prison. With that, I'm going to gracefully bow down. Gracefully bow down to you all. And again, I pray that may the grace of God guide you and soften your heart. Good night.